What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more punk rock, and we're going back to the Dead Kennedys' 1982 album, Plastic Surgery Disasters. This is their sophomore album. Very much enjoy the sound of this album. I think even more than their debut album, Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables, which I do like a great deal. But yeah, I think this album took their sound to a new level. It has a sort of harder, faster sound. Now we're going to listen to a tune called Buzzbomb, which is interesting. I did a reaction to an acid-techno cover of Buzzbomb by the Well-Paid Scientist, which is another tune on this same album, which is a track on a cheeky label called COSHH, where they do acid-techno remixes of a number of different rock type of tunes. But yeah, and in fact there's a vocal in that track where it samples Trust Your Mechanic as well. So obviously the people who made that track, Dave LaLouche and Henry Cullen, or DDR and Dave the drummer, obviously one of them, at least one of them, is a Dead Kennedys fan, so I figured, you know, I did that remix, I have to go back and do the original. So we're going to listen to Buzzbomb. And lyrically, I think it's another perfect example of Jello Biafra's sort of withering, sarcastic, and like scathing critiques that not only sort of highlight a couple targets specifically, but by implication criticize other cultural forms and processes and so on. But I think it's a song that talks about a certain class of male in particular who are into their cars and seemingly devote a lot more time, love, and attention to their cars than their families, their wives, or their kids, or, you know, other people in their lives. And indeed, it talks about how these guys often like to get out into their cars and go driving around for days or weeks at a time because they'd rather be out doing that than at home. And, you know, they're sort of zooming around and they don't really kind of like the rabble of society. They kind of, you know, they'd rather just zoom past them and flip them off and give them the bird. So it speaks to a sort of like hyper-individualist type of American who is so focused on the material nature of their car and perhaps seeing that as an extension of their own identity and masculinity and so on. But it's interesting because I think it's sort of a companion piece to Winnebago Warrior in a way, because that tune also sort of categorizes a particular type of American, and in that case it's about, you know, people who like to go out into nature but then they sort of don't respect nature and they make a mess and, you know, kind of, you know, act as if it's their own home and, you know, leave their trash everywhere and so on. In that case, though, it's interesting because there's no real consequences for this like selfish kind of disrespectful behavior. But in this case, it's interesting, this kind of hyper-individualist, you know, automobile-focused at the expense of other people in their lives and, you know, responsibilities and so on. This type of mentality and behavior does lead to a negative consequence for the sort of theoretical individual who serves as the sort of subject of the song, and that they sort of, you know, they're driving around, you know, zooming down these country roads and whatever, and they go through a small town and they're zooming around in their hot rod, and some of these local sheriffs get a look and like, oh no, fuck this guy. And so they start pursuing him, and the narrator, the person driving the car, makes the point that they ruin his paint job in his car and ultimately kill him because they're chasing him and shooting their guns at him. So once again, it's like there's a main subject of the criticism of the song, but there are also like sort of caustic assessments of other cultural forces and layers like within the same set of lyrics. So once again, I think it's a testament to Jello Biafra's writing. So let's get to it. This is Virus 27. As I mentioned before, I was able to hang on to some of my punk rock vinyl, and this is one of the examples. But yeah, this is Virus 27, and this is Buzzbomb, which is the 4th to last track on this side. Now, I remember there's like no gaps between the songs, so like... So this is the end of the last song. It's just... It's like you can't... Anyway, Buzzbomb. Klaus. I love the great of these tunes. explicit, like, sign says next sign 30 miles. Again, it's like that loud, raw, kind of early 80s style. Nothing like some Jello vibrato. Again, these kind of like solo instrumental moments are also very indicative of what that Dead Kennedy sound was.
At the 7-Eleven.
The snicker, the cartoonish snicker at the end there. Yeah, like I said, it's a super cool tune. It's rip-roaring, it's aggressive, it's raw, and I do love the cheeky nature of the lyrics. As I said, I think, you know, there's a lot of critiques in there. Some of them are more overt, some of them are sort of like buried within the sort of comedy of a line, which again, I think it fits very much into Jello's writing style. So yeah, let me know what you think of that one. Let me know if there's another tune on the record I haven't gotten to yet. There is one that I'm waiting for, okay? So there's a tune on here called Halloween. You may have heard it. You know, a lot of people know the Misfits song Halloween. It's cool, although, you know, a bit less my flavor. It's, you know, kind of horror rock and so on, or horror punk. But yeah, the Dead Kennedys one, you know, again, it's a scathing critique, but it's sort of ironic and like comedic, so I'm waiting for October for that one. But yeah, there are a couple other tunes I think that I haven't done, so any of the ones other than Halloween, which I'm going to wait for the appropriate time for that one. But yeah, let me know what you think. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I will see you next time.